came here in June 1972.
I've lived on this estate since 1982.
I have been living here for 12 years.
The people on the estate are a community. I couldn't choose a better place to live.
This place means my world.
What did I forget yesterday with the shopping? Okay, darling. Yeah, I'll be round soon.
This kind of estate really should be celebrated. We've only been out 3 minutes. I should think I've said hello to half a dozen people.
We've got a community, a brilliant community, and the people of Fulham, through thick and thin, through all the wars, have always stuck together.
Hi, Robert.
Hi.
You all right? It's only me.
But you had to have posh bacon because the only unsmoked they had was the posh one.
Oh, well, I'll have to have the posh bacon.
Yeah, and that was too nice.
Anyway, I deserve the posh bacon.
It's a really, really nice estate. The climate at the time was social housing equals bad. There was a definite sense of, you know, people don't deserve it, they shouldn't have it.
It's 77 acres. So if you think about the size of Mayfair, that's the sort of scale that we're talking about. We produce about 7,500 homes that will create, we believe, about 12,000 permanent jobs. And at the top of the site is the West Ken and Gibbs Green estate. Nowhere near the worst estate in London, but it's not a great example of how we should be living, how we should be using land going forward.
They've said regenerate it, but they don't mean that. We've learnt that they mean demolish it completely.
I think people were so shocked, they didn't know what to do. So I thought I better do something. And so I asked around people, one name kept coming up, which was Jonathan Rosenberg, who was a community organiser, who was one of the main people who brought down Shirley Porter.
I don't come to you and tell you where you live is shit. You shouldn't be living there. You've got to go and live over there, and it's going to be better for you. I mean, how would you feel about that?
I want to stay in London and I want to stay on this estate, and certainly from a political and a social point of view there's absolutely no reason why this estate shouldn't exist. It's completely morally wrong and it is endemic of the social cleansing that's happening in London.
You've got to bear in mind that the problem the council had was that there was nothing wrong with the estates, and so it had to justify redevelopment on entirely different grounds.
They slagged us off completely, haven't they, from the beginning?
They said the homes are not fit for purpose, that we've got high crime rates, we've got high unemployment, we're all undereducated.
They were pregnant, ignorant, criminals, old, and so on. So the answer is to knock it down. Have I explained it well enough now?
Okay, good evening everybody. Nice to see so many here tonight.
The first step was to revive the two tenants and residents associations, one for West Kensington Estate and the other for Gibbs Green. I went round all of the homes again and again and again. We collected about, well, it was over 1,000 signatures.
On one side, you had the coalition government who were fully signed up to this denigration of social housing. You had Kensington Council and you had Hammersmith Council, and of course then you had the developer themselves and all their experts and advisors by the bucket load. Money was absolutely no object in those terms because these were the boom years and this was going to be where people made a killing. And on the other side, you had residents. A David and Goliath battle par excellence.
The majority of all the residents have said they don't want to go ahead.
Nikki, I can't confirm the detail of what you say because I don't have it before me now.
It was a shower of bad news, really, wasn't it? Every time we went to a meeting, you came out of that meeting
Devastated.
You'd think that reasonable people somewhere in government would say, no, you can't do that in this day and age. But that just didn't happen. In fact, it got worse as time went on.
The actual demolition was a real visible earthquake. This whole place is going down before our eyes.
We used to stand on
dust.
Sally's balcony, didn't we, at night and watch the little train going down as they're cutting it down.
Yeah, so that meant the bulldozer was getting closer to us, didn't it?
Black hoardings means death. Death of businesses, death of homes, destruction of the local economy, and generally bad news. A lot of people became disillusioned, let's put it that way, lost all hope. Now, if you do keep going and you survive all of that, it does mean that then when there are winds of change, you're still there. So that means that you can take advantage.
Well, we're still here, aren't we? Let's hope that we're still here in another 7 years' time.
We're campaigning against being demolished, but for the people deciding what they want.
So what we're proposing, I remember on the walkabout you said I didn't mind if you build on top of my flat, but we took you on your word. So the right to 8 additional homes that we'll be building.
It's a legal right. It gives council tenant groups the right to go through a process to choose an alternative landlord to the council. Now, in our case, obviously, the alternative landlord is us. We published what we want, which is for the people to be in charge of their own homes, for us to be able to build additional homes in the way that we want, that meet the people's needs, which was a positive, constructive vision.
I think that was just such a monumental tragedy that need never have happened. Overnight, I think the Tories' attitude defrosted over social housing.
There's been a lot of trouble here because they didn't sell any flats at all for something like 6 months. We discover that having promised that they were going to knock down Empress Place and the shops on Lily Road, the next thing was they were doing them up. They can't take the heat now and they want to get out the kitchen. So then we get this letter from the leader of the council, and he says,
My colleagues and I have been negotiating hard
to get the estates back.
West Kent and Gibbs Green could return to council.
Yeah.
Hey?
If not for you, nothing.
Yeah. Come in.
So, congratulations.
We'll teach those bastards a lesson, what?
I've been out on the estates all week and people are so happy.
It just shows that the power of the people and the people's voice counts.
Yeah.
And the more you carry on, the more you'll be listened to.
That's a good Christmas present, that's good.
We went out immediately to see people, we spoke with them and said, what do you think of that?
Hello.
And we took pictures of them holding the letter, said, what's your reaction? You know, and they said, oh God, this is amazing. You know, we just never believed this could be. We're so relieved. Does this mean we've won? What's going on? It's fantastic.
Yes, second in control!
Yes.
This is a story about arrogance and greed, about politicians who thought they could treat people as commodities, about developers who couldn't believe their luck, then fell prey themselves to changing political and market forces.
We sent emails to anybody that's got anything to do with Capco. So if you run a barber's, for instance, and you leased it from Capco, we sent you an email and all your staff saying, this is what they're doing, you know, you have to be careful of them.
We've asked these people basically to disinvest, to sell their shares.
What's this from the chief executive of
Carluccio's, that's a major restaurant chain.
Thank you for your letter, Keith. I wish you well with your campaign.
Hurrah! There you go.
And it got to the point that Capco actually threatened us legally.
Oh yeah, we all got a letter from their lawyers.
Bring it on. What have we got to lose?
Bloomberg News discovered that Capco was in talks with a Hong Kong multi-billion-pound company called CK Asset Holdings. They are registered in the Cayman Islands. Unfortunately, our budget did not stretch to taking you all to the Cayman Islands.
And this is to make sure that the directors know what the situation is on the ground.
Okay, well, I'll pass it on, yeah.
That scheme is dead. Capco themselves admit that it's dead. And Capco cannot afford to build its obscene luxury developments anymore because the market has collapsed. And it's now politically unacceptable.
I've been living there about 30 years. I don't want to keep moving. I love that place.
The tide has turned, and we just brought that message to another developer. We don't think that anyone's going to buy this site of Capco. We're just knocking the final nails into Capco's coffin today.
All the way through the campaign, we've had real mega highs and mega lows.
Hello, this is Jericho Chamber. It's lovely. I was hoping to have a very brief word with Robert Phillips.
Robert!
One of the real highs is Capco are trying to sell us. And the longer they're trying to sell us and the less anybody wants to buy us, the more high we feel.
People know that if they buy, they've got us to face.
None of them are at work.
It's how many years of practice do you need to be able to get the chairs laid out correctly? The answer is a lot.
Never underestimate just how strong the forces against you have been and how dramatic what's been happening in this area has been. Go look at the exhibition centre site. It's a wasteland, and if you hadn't stood up against that, that's exactly what this site would be now.
A letter and a telephone conversation from our side triggered a major South African shareholder to halve its share. Now, when I say Capco's loss is our gain, there's one.
The main mistake that campaigns make is portraying themselves, and it may be accurate, as victims.
I must admit, we've tripped them up every available opportunity because it's been so easy. They leave themselves wide open.
Yeah, because it's the contempt they hold us in that we're stupid, we don't know anything.
The approach we've taken is, look, we have a vision for the future, which is a future that we control and that we own, where we decide what should happen to our homes, where we support our neighbours,
So, like here?
and where we work together.
First day I moved in, I got a notice to say it's going to be demolished.
That was a welcome, was it?
Yes. Ever since I've been fighting to keep our homes out of the hands of Capco.
And because those greedy people, they want to push us out and be richer and we be poorer. This is why we fight for it.
All these people who are seeking our interest, we want to say thank you very much and keep up the good work. Thank you.
To get this far, obviously they are listening to us. We'll be support of everyone, so yeah.
We fight them to the end. We will overcome.
Yes, we will.
Everybody knew that if we move, the place we're going to get, it won't anything near to what we have today. I'm not going anywhere. I don't want the money, I just want to stay where I am. When I'm gone, well, my son will fight his own way.
We cannot lose the ¿cómo se dice? Esperanza, the hope, yes, until we still keeping going, and if we fight together, we can win.
So the managing director of Capco is Ian Hawksworth. Just at the time when Capco was signing the conditional land sale agreement, he purchased this beautiful old house in Aldbury during the very period where he was finalising the plans for our destruction. He was also planning the destruction of Barley End. And I am sad to say that most of Barley End is no longer with us.
Here we have the first edition of the Albury News, which we are delivering to the good people of Albury to let them know about their new neighbour, Mr. Ian Hawksworth, who has been trying to knock down the West Ken and Gibbs Green estates and has been knocking down this rather nice house up the road. So we're just delivering these to spread the message and maybe gain some friends.
Okay guys, you ready? We have prepared special messages for our dear friend.
Is the owner in?
No.
Oh, what a shame. I thought we were going to get a cup of tea.
Oh, it's filming us.
Oh yeah, get your posters up then.
Yeah, the team will film us.
What is the...
man who
built
house.
that house, who destroyed the house.
He wants to demolish all our houses.
All right. Well, nice to see you.
Junqueum.
Thank you. That's it. That's it. Good stuff. Ready?
Squeeze a little.
Just squeeze in, Disco. Come in. Well done, everybody. That's fantastic. That is brilliant. Thank you.
It's like council tenants giving him a poke in the eye and saying, we're aware of your luxuriousness. We can't do much about it. But we can still let you know that he has a contract on our land. We are trying to turn the confrontation upside down